Just as the destination comes into view, someone steps in, piling on requests, demands, and expectations. It could be family, friends, or even strangers, but they all have one thing in common. They're draining you of your most precious resources, your time, energy, and inner peace. Be honest. Have you ever felt like life's go-to person, always there for others, constantly supporting, while slowly sinking under the weight of it all? If the answer is yes, this video is for you. Today, we're diving into 5 things you should never let others take from you. These aren't just physical drains. They wear down your spirit and leave you feeling depleted. But here's the truth. You weren't put here to live a life of endless compromise, chasing approval, or carrying the burdens of everyone else. This is your life, and you deserve the peace, freedom, and happiness you've worked so hard to build. Stick around. What you're about to hear might be the reminder you didn't realize you needed. Let's get started. 1. Never take on responsibilities that aren't yours. Have you ever said yes and then wonder why? Why did I agree to this? I have, and I know exactly how it feels. It always starts with a small request, a family member needing urgent help, a situation you feel you can't refuse. But those little favors quickly turn into massive burdens. You go from being a supporter to the one holding everything together. The longer it goes on, the heavier it feels, and the harder it becomes to let go. Even the strongest rope will snap if pulled too tight for too long. I've been that rope. Once, a relative asked for help organizing a surprise birthday party for their child. I thought I'd just help pick out a gift or give minor assistance. But before I knew it, I was in charge of everything. Booking the venue, planning the food, even making the guest list. Meanwhile, my relative barely contributed, saying, "You're so much better at these things than me." By the day of the party, I was exhausted. They took all the credit, and when I expressed how overwhelmed I felt, they brushed it off, calling me too sensitive. That's when I realized helping doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. I wasn't responsible for carrying the entire event when others should have stepped up. Stoic philosophy reminds us that peace doesn't come from pleasing everyone. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Once I learned to set boundaries, I understood that saying no wasn't selfish. It was self-preservation. If you're in a similar situation, ask yourself, does this responsibility truly belong to me? If it doesn't, have the courage to say no. You don't have to carry the weight of your entire family. Every time you refuse a burden that isn't yours, you're saying yes to your own peace and priorities. That's how you protect yourself from being drained. 2. Don't let others take your money and financial stability. Imagine a peaceful morning. You're sipping coffee, enjoying a quiet moment. Then the phone rings. A familiar voice greets you. Maybe a child, a relative, or an old friend. But instead of a warm, friendly chat, they need an urgent loan. You think, just this once, it's fine. But the truth is, just this once rarely stops there. My friend David was that person, always willing to help. One time, an old friend asked for a loan to cover a financial emergency. Out of kindness, David agreed. But the request didn't stop. One call was for a car repair, the next for a bill payment. He didn't just lose money, he lost his peace of mind. Every time his phone rang, he felt anxiety, fearing yet another request. What hurt him most wasn't the money, but the lack of gratitude. The friend never repaid the loans or even acknowledged the help. Here's what you need to understand. Your money is a result of your hard work, effort, and sacrifices. You are not a bank or an endless safety net for others to withdraw from without repayment. Stoic philosophy teaches us that happiness doesn't come from pleasing others, but from living in alignment with our values. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Every time you give without consideration, you don't just lose money, you lose peace of mind. So, how do you handle this? Set clear financial boundaries. Not every request is your responsibility. If you know the money will be misused or never repaid, have the courage to say no. This protects your finances and preserves relationships from unnecessary strain. Ask yourself, if tomorrow you face a health crisis or an emergency, who would step up to help you? Financial stability is one of the most important foundations for a peaceful and happy life. Saying no isn't selfish. It's self-love and protection for your future. Money is a tool to build a better life, not a resource to fill the endless needs of others. By maintaining strong financial boundaries, you reclaim your peace of mind and enjoy the rewards of your hard work. 3. Don't let yourself be dragged into family conflicts. Family is often seen as a safe haven, but sometimes it's the source of endless conflict. The worst part? Getting pulled into battles you never started. Picture this. You're enjoying a quiet morning, sipping coffee, reading a book. Then your phone buzzes. It's a family member venting about another relative. They want you to take sides, to intervene, to mediate. Before you know it, you're in the middle of a drama that was never yours to begin with. Family conflicts can be exhausting. They drain your energy, steal your peace, and often leave you feeling trapped in a cycle of guilt and obligation. But here's the truth. Not every fight is yours to fix. When you allow yourself to be dragged into family drama, you sacrifice your own well-being for problems that aren't yours to solve. You become the emotional sponge, absorbing stress that should never have been yours in the first place. Stoic wisdom reminds us that we can only control our actions, not the actions of others. The best way to handle this? Set emotional boundaries. When someone tries to pull you into their conflict, remind yourself, this is not my battle. You can listen, but you don't have to engage. You can care, but you don't have to fix everything. Your peace is precious. Don't let family drama steal it from you. When your phone rings unexpectedly, a familiar voice on the other end urgently describes a disagreement with another family member. Tom is wrong, they insist, or your brother never compromises. Then comes a familiar request. You need to talk to them. I've been in this situation before. My uncle once called me to mediate a property dispute with my other uncle. Even though I wasn't directly involved, I felt obligated to step in, believing it was my duty to keep the peace. But what happened? Neither side was satisfied. One accused me of favoritism, while the other complained I wasn't firm enough. When the conflict finally settled, I realized I hadn't solved anything. Instead, I had lost my peace of mind and felt more distant from both uncles. Here's what I learned. Getting involved in family conflicts rarely resolves them. More often, you just become the target for both sides. Stoic philosophy teaches us not to be drawn into situations beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You don't have to have an opinion on every event, and you don't have to carry every burden." So how do you avoid getting pulled into family drama? Set clear boundaries. Don't be afraid of being misunderstood when you decline to participate. Remind your family that everyone is responsible for their own actions. If pressured to intervene, calmly but firmly say, "I respect both of you, but this isn't something I should mediate." Most importantly, ask yourself, am I willing to sacrifice my peace and precious time to play referee in a fight that isn't mine? Your time and energy are invaluable. Don't let them be consumed by unnecessary conflicts. Instead, use that time to enjoy life's simple joys, a good book, a peaceful afternoon, or a meaningful conversation with people who bring you true peace. That's how you protect your soul and avoid the exhausting whirlwind of family drama. Have you ever heard comments like, "Why don't you try dressing younger?" Or, "You should really learn how to use social media. Everyone does these days." These seemingly harmless suggestions often carry an unspoken demand. Change to meet someone else's expectations. Change is inherently bad, but when you change just to please others, you risk losing the most important thing, your true self. My friend Linda, a proud and traditional woman, often heard remarks from her daughter like, "Mom, you should learn this app. The way you do things is so slow." At first, Linda tried to adapt, thinking it would strengthen their bond. But the more she tried, the more exhausted she felt. She began questioning whether she was enough by modern standards. Here's what you need to understand. Growing is good, but changing just to meet someone else's expectations is a trap. Your values, habits, and beliefs aren't outdated. They're the result of a life you've worked hard to build. Stoic philosophy reminds us that while we can't control how others perceive us, we can control how we perceive ourselves. Marcus Aurelius said, Your happiness depends on living in alignment with your own values, not on others' opinions. So, how do you stand firm against pressure to change? Ask yourself, is this change truly right for me? Will it improve my life? Or am I just doing it to make someone else happy? If the answer is no, don't hesitate to say no. Respond with respect. But be firm in showing that you don't need to become the version of yourself that others want. Those who truly love you will accept you as you are, imperfections and all. They will respect the real you rather than trying to mold you into someone else. You don't need to trade your peace, pride, or self-worth for approval. This is your life, and you have the right to live it in a way that feels true to you. Instead of fitting into someone else's mold, stand strong in your values. That self-respect is the most enduring strength you'll ever have. How many times have you set aside your own desires just to make others happy? How often have you given up what you love to meet the expectations of family, friends, or society? Phrases like, "I'd be so disappointed if you don't do this," or "I really need your help. You'd upset me if you said no," may seem harmless, but over time, they quietly suffocate your freedom and happiness. Mark, a man who always prioritized others, constantly dropped everything to help his younger brother fix his car or finish a co-worker's project. He skipped gym sessions, missed games with friends, things that once brought him joy. At first, he believed pleasing everyone was his responsibility, but over time, he realized people started taking his help for granted. No one asked if he had time for himself. He wasn't just exhausted. He had lost a sense of fulfillment. Here's the truth. Happiness isn't something you can sacrifice endlessly for others. When you always put others first, they grow used to taking from you, forgetting that you also need love and care. You are not a supporting character in someone else's story, nor are you responsible for fixing everyone's problems while neglecting your own. Stoic philosophy teaches that happiness and peace are our own responsibilities. Marcus Aurelius said, "A man is happy when he lives in harmony with himself." Learning to say no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-love. If someone asks you to sacrifice your peace and happiness for them, ask yourself, is this really love or is it exploitation? Start prioritizing yourself. Identify what brings joy and meaning to your life. Spend time on what you love. Surround yourself with people who genuinely care, and take moments to reconnect with yourself. Don't hesitate to say no to requests that drain you. Instead of living to please others, focus on building a life that makes you proud and fulfilled. This life, whether long or short, is yours to live. Don't let anyone take away your peace of mind. Care for yourself as you care for others. Your peace is priceless. Protect it at all costs. These are the things that quietly drain your soul and, more importantly, how to reclaim your peace, energy, and happiness. Life is too short to let your time, focus, or well-being be consumed by things that don't serve you. Whether it's learning to say no, setting boundaries, or staying true to your values, the power to protect your soul is entirely in your hands. Imagine waking up tomorrow, no longer feeling drained by unnecessary conflicts or expectations. Picture a life where you prioritize yourself, surround yourself with people who uplift you, and pursue goals that truly matter. That's the kind of life you deserve, a life of purpose, balance, and peace. If this message resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe for more insights on mastering your mind and life. And here's your call to action. Drop a comment below with one thing you're ready to reclaim starting today. Let's take back control, one decision at a time,